Evening, everybody, and welcome along to this edition of Heroes and Icons on Lear Media. And we have an email if you want to contact the program anytime for your information and indeed any comments you want to make on it. They're more than welcome. It's info@learmedia.tv. This is series 2 of Heroes and Icons, and this is episode 2, just to confuse you further. But all our other first series are up on our YouTube channel and Lear Media TV, our YouTube channel. All our programs up there for you to enjoy. Now, as you can see from the picture behind me, the subject of this edition, part 2 of series 2 of Heroes and Icons on this edition is, I suppose, Anne Miller. Now, Anne Miller was, there's no doubt about it, she was an icon, an absolute icon of that era. And she was born in 1923, and she was born Johnny Lucille, Johnie, Johnny Lucille Collier in 1923 in Chiquino, Texas. And I suppose she was an only child to, her mother was Emma Bridewell, and her dad was John Allison Collier, a very well-known criminal lawyer at the time, and he represented well-known, notorious people at the time as well, as he was a criminal lawyer. He represented the Barrow Gang, famous Clyde Barrow, Bonnie and Clyde fame, the Barrow Gang, Machine Gun Kelly, people remember Machine Gun Kelly, and also Babyface Nelson, among many others, were his clients. And as I said, she was an only child. She was at age 9, her parents divorced. And as a result of that, then herself and her mother moved to Los Angeles. And indeed, she was a very, I suppose, a prodigy, a dancing prodigy, entertainment prodigy at a very young age. She displayed all those qualities that one would expect in a trained professional dancer, so to speak. Anyway, her mother, of course, was deaf, and that mitigated very much against her getting regular work to make ends meet. Anyway, so they're in Lydie with her mother, and Anne Miller, you'll see from some of the earlier photographs later on in the show, Anne Miller looked much older than she was, so that she took advantage of that, and presumably her mother did as well, in getting jobs as a dancer in the various clubs around where they were living. And so indeed, she began to, after a while, she changed her name to Anne Miller from Johnny Lucille Collier. And she got work at the age of 12, 13, she became the main breadwinner for the family, herself and her mom, in Los Angeles. And as I said, she told them that she was much older than what she was, and she did pass off very successfully as much older than she was. I don't know how, anyway, people were interested in her talent at the time, which was a good thing. And she began to get a notoriety and well known, and was very popular around the clubs at the area at the time. And then she was then hired as a dancer in 1936, which put her age at 13, as we know, almost 14. But she got a birth certificate, which we presume was, it says in some biographies now, you can look at this up yourself, which was organized by her dad to make her age to be 18 instead of 13, 14. So anyway, she was hired to dance at this famous club in Los Angeles, which was called the Black Cat Club. That was it, the Black Cat Club. And many celebrities and scouts and all from time to time would be going around to these clubs looking for the latest craze, the newest, I suppose, the new talent and all of that. And one night in the Black Cat Club, she was discovered. Well, she was always there, but she was noticed, I suppose, for want of a better word, by Lucille Ball, none other than Lucille Ball, and a scout or a talent master, I suppose you describe him as, Binny Rubin. And as a result of this meeting between Ann Miller and Lucille Ball and et al., she landed a contract with RKO Pictures, very big at the time. And this really, I suppose, began her career in earnest. Now, obviously, I'm not going to list out all the films she appeared and who she appeared with, because the program would be too long and probably too boring as well for people to be listening to me that long. I think I know how much you can testify. And by the way, you can subscribe to our channel anytime as well by pressing the red button on the right-hand side. It's free of charge to subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel, and we'd be delighted with your contributions indeed. So in 1937 then, Ann Miller appeared alongside Ginger Rogers in that film, very well-known film, Stage Door, 1938. She played wonderful Essie Carmichael in Frank Capra's You Can't Take It With You. Well, I remember seeing that myself, you know. I didn't know anything about Ann Miller, but I enjoyed the film. They're very, I suppose, in the early days of television in Ireland, we would have seen a lot of those musicals, those black and white musicals, on a Sunday, I think at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, they used to show them. I'm not sure now, maybe my memory is hazy, but they were very, very lavish affairs, huge, big productions, very well, I suppose, cast. And indeed, everybody could act properly and everybody could dance and most people could sing well. So you had an extravaganza, I suppose, which I suppose we don't see the like of them anymore now. I suppose that was the zine, the very top entertainment in the 40s, 50s, 60s. You could say they probably lasted and you had those big, huge films as well, straight films of the kind of Ben-Hur and all of those as well, Quo Vadis, huge, big films as well, given the treatment, as well as the musicals had to be as big to be up there with them. And they were well much appreciated and very well made. And as I said, and very well cast indeed, which is always important to have the right characters in the right place. Anyway, so then her contract was finished then, well, not finished, but it's coming to an end with RKO, but she was not lucky, but she was indeed signed immediately by Columbia Pictures. And that was in 1941, she was signed by Columbia Pictures. So from 1941 to 1945, she made a total of 11 films for Columbia, and you can look that up in the appendix. Whatever, I'm not going to name them all out here. But that was, of course, was during the Second World War as well, when she posed in a bathing suit for Yank magazine, and that was picked up all around the place. So she became a pin-up sensation, and indeed that enhanced her. People who recognized her totally then from that, as a result of that photo shoot for Yank magazine. It was picked up by other magazines and picked up all around the world. And of course, I mean, this was an era and age whereby, you know, things like that made you or broke you, so to speak. And indeed, during the war effort, of course, I mean, this was a very popular thing among the soldiers. And I didn't look up now what she entertained, but that was 1945, so the war was coming to an end. It was still raging in the Pacific, but I mean, anyway. So she posed in the bathing suit for Yank magazine. And then, of course, after that, her star became more popular, her stock, so to speak, as an actor, a dancer, and no means singer either, you know, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. She was very versatile and a fantastic entertainer. You're listening to Lyra Media, and you're with myself, Pat Barry, on Heroes and Icons. And this is Series 2, Episode 2 of Heroes and Icons. So then, obviously, after her bathing suit and her publicity surrounding that, she went on then to star in Easter Parade. Easter Parade was her big film. Everybody knows Easter Parade. I mean, there was some fantastic dancing sequences and some wonderful songs and all of that. It was a proper musical, so to speak, and a magnificent film. Easter Parade, that was in 1948. Then she made On the Town in 1949, which was another very, very successful film. And of course, that culminated in 1953 with Kiss Me Kate in 1953, the wonderful Ann Miller we're talking about here on Heroes and Icons. And I suppose in later life, she claimed that she invented the pantyhose. You can read all about that, you know. It's nothing that would be of interest to myself, so to speak, but you never know in this age. Anyway, she claimed to have invented that. Anyway, her film career was really effectively came to an end in 1956. I suppose then around that time, you know, but she still stayed very active from 1956 onwards on theatre and on new upcoming TV, which was really, I suppose, spelled the end for an awful lot of these extravagant films and all. I suppose every era, every decade or two or three have their moments. Indeed, you're the roaring 20s, of course, and 30s. And then you had the moments of these wonderful, they carried on into the 1960s, but then really their goose was spooked by television, I suppose, and people, you know, began to change their styles, their lives and stuff. They became more consumer orientated, and the whole notion of going out to film, going out to theatre, going to began to wane a bit, because you had this box in the corner of your living room, and it brought you all the entertainment then in your own house, in your own sitting room, so to speak. She appeared in lots of television series. She appeared in a Love Boat, one of the episodes of The Love Boat, was very popular in 1982. And her last stage performance was in 1998 in Stephen Sondheim's Follies in Stephen Sondheim. And she got some fantastic reviews and well earned for anybody who was there. I was reading about her myself, and especially for her song. And you can look up this and listen to it at your own spare time on YouTube. The song she sung was I'm Still Here. And that's a beautiful song sung by Ann Miller in the Follies, Stephen Sondheim's Follies, in 1998. Now, also, you can find it in, I said there's good few YouTube clips as well around the fact that she got the famous Red Book treatment on ITV from wonderful Mike Aspel in 1993. She was the subject of one of those TV programs, This Is Your Life, Ann Miller. And I confess, I love looking up this and researching this, and we just do a thumbnail of the person so that people who may have forgotten her, maybe fans of the Ann Miller in particular, would be enthused again to read some more, maybe look at some of her films, listen to some of her singing, look at the clips of her. Oh, she's a wonderful tap dancer. And anyway, her very last role was the character Coco in David Lynch's wonderful, wonderful film, Mulholland Drive. And that was in, I forget now what year that was. Anyway, you can go. Mulholland Drive, and it was a very last role. She played Coco in that wonderful film, Mulholland Drive. And during her life, she published 2 books as well. She got time to do that. Miller's High Life in 1972 and Tapping into the Force in 1990. Now, if you want to find out any more about Ann Miller, obviously, you know, you can look up. What's the word I'm looking for? You can. All the information would be there on her biographies, different biographies, and there's loads of information. Obviously, in any one of the those wonderful characters from the 40s and 50s, as Anne Miller was. There's loads and loads of information on her anyway, and on her career, and all of that. As I said, she wrote 2 books, and they're still, I don't know about the one in 1972, but I know Tapping into the Force is still there. There are people who wrote books about her as well. There's a good few of them up on Amazon and up on all the online places, and I'm sure any decent bookstore would order one in for you if you were that way inclined. And the one for Anne Miller. Anne Miller herself, of course, passed away on January the 22nd, 2004, and she was just maybe 2 months short of her 81st birthday, so she was officially passed away at the age of 80 from lung cancer, which is unfortunate, really, you know. That was Anne Miller, an only child, born to, I suppose, her mother, as said, was deaf, and her dad was a famous criminal lawyer. And I suppose you could say that Anne Miller herself, you know, when people think of tap dancers and dancers in general, they always the top 2 or 3 are always picked out as I suppose Ginger Rogers and Sid Charisse and those people, and deservedly so. But there are many, many more excellent dancers who would be well up there with them, and Anne Miller would be one of those. As I said, this edition of Heroes and Icons is paying tribute to the wonderful Anne Miller, who was a fantastic all-rounder, a very good singer, a fantastic dancer, and could act as well. She had it all, as I say, and she left a wonderful legacy of films, television, and whatnot. You can find an awful lot of clips and all of that on YouTube. So tell all your friends about us, and all our programs you can find out on our YouTube channel, which is learnmedia.tv, our YouTube channel. And subscribe is free of charge by pressing the red button on the right hand side, and we welcome one and all to our wonderful setup here in Learn Media. Tell all your friends about us. So for this edition of Heroes and Icons, paying tribute to Anne Miller, myself, Pat Barrett, till we meet again. Take care, goodbye now, and God bless.